to an exclusive on Pod Hub Network. Your city, your podcast.
To the delight of this crowd, McClendon marches down the dugout steps with first base. McCutcheon's throw. The runner breaks to the plate. Here's the throw. Wow. He is out. The Buccos win.
That ball's hit well to left center field. Back toward the track. And that ball is gone.
You are listening to the North Shore 9 podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, make sure to watch NS9 Live every Thursday on Twitch and help support by becoming a patron. Let's go Bucks!
Yo, 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 welcome to Starbucks. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we got Jim Rosati. Jim? I don't know why I can't say your name today. It's very easy. It's Rosati. But what up, Jim? Happy Wednesday morning.
Happy Wednesday. Good morning. Hope you're feeling well since we had the latest day. So, yeah.
I am, and I appreciate that. But as always, if it's not Tuesday, it's Wednesday.
It's all the same. It's probably for the best. We didn't really have much to talk about on Tuesday with the off day and everything. So, yeah, Wednesday, there's more stuff to talk about now.
Very true. But unfortunately, we have to talk after this crucial loss last night to the Dodgers.
Crucial loss and another play.
Do we have to? Do we have to, Jim?
We don't have to talk about it too much. But
I mean,
my gosh.
We should talk about it. It was just not too long ago we had to talk about the Will Craig situation. And now all of a sudden we got to talk about Ke'Bryan Hayes. And that's the thing, of all people, right? Ke'Bryan Hayes, like you would assume that maybe we're talking about not Wilmer Defoe anymore because he's gone. Maybe it was Tom. Right? Maybe Tom actually hit one out of the ballpark and he missed first base. That I could be like, this is why you're a Rule 5. This is why you're DFA'd. But Ke'Bryan Hayes, I'm a little shocked on.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Just an absolute big blunder, mental error, whatever you want to call it. I think they were trying to figure out on the telecast, on the broadcast last night, like when was the last time this had happened in Major League Baseball. I think it's been at least 4 decades. But for anybody who doesn't know, I don't know how you couldn't know at this point.
At least 4 decades. Oh my god! It's been
at least 4 decades since someone in the major leagues has homered and been called out for missing a base. So we made it about a week. We made it out about a week with somebody who on this team, didn't do something that all of Major League Baseball is now laughing at. But yes. It's just, it does suck because it's like, oh well, this is actually our best player. It's not just like a guy it's not a guy we've DFA'd. It's not a guy who's going to be DFA'd. It's our absolute best player who did this. And it's like, so it's hard to get mad at him because it's like he hit a homer. Like he hit a homer off of Walker Buehler, right?
Yes. And like that's this whole thing, like it's just of course interesting in so many ways because for one, you're right. It is the Pirates' best player. It's Ke'Bryan Hayes. He's a top prospect. So part of this kind of, I don't know, in a sense, and I could be wrong. I don't know. But in a sense, this kind of just shows like, it's just weird. Like even like the Will Craig situation, right? Like it's just something was in your mind. It's not as if you're just like this terrible baseball player. You've made it to the big leagues. You know baseball in and out. Just a lapse in your head, right? Like even with Ke'Bryan Hayes, like just lapse in your head. He was just there, keep looking at the baseball. It goes over the fence, and he rounds first and doesn't touch first base. And I guess like I don't know, like in my mind, how do you not know you didn't touch first base? I mean, it's clearly an object that has a familiar feel to it that you must touch, and you would know if you touched it or not. And he didn't, and yet he kept going. And kind of like with Will Craig, like all you have to do is step on the bag. But because the moment, the situation, you're like, I got to run and chase down this guy to home plate. So it's almost like showing now it could happen to anybody, but yet like something like this happened twice to just Pirate players. That like you said, and that hasn't happened to nobody in 4 decades.
Yeah, I mean, it's another one where, like, literally there have been I live in Kentucky. I'm 6 hours away from Pittsburgh. No one here, like, as far as, like, my friends go, cares about the Pirates, right?
Sure.
And they have blown up my phone.
Not too many in
Pittsburgh
do either, so.
they've blown up my phone twice this year. And it was Will Craig, and then last night I get these links sent to me. Like, Jim, did you see this? I'm like, yes, I saw it. Shut up.
I'm telling you, man. So, okay. So, Brian Hayes is up the bat. Hits and drives this ball. And you're just looking, and everyone's just hoping it stays fair. Like, that was really the thing about the home run. You know? Is this thing fair or foul? And then, of course, you see them, go to the review booth, and you think they're checking to see if it's going to be fair or foul. And it had nothing to do with that at all. It was if he touched first base. But that was the first thing. Like, okay, is it going to be fair or foul? You see the review, like, oh, it's definitely fair. Brian Hayes, home run. That away, dude, right? And it's taken away. And, like, so here's the thing, right? So it's like, everything about this is so weird, right? He hits a home run, but now there is no home run. It's not a home run. The ball went over the fence in fair territory. It's not a home run. Walker Buehler, now all of a sudden, doesn't give up a home run. like his pitching ERA and stats are looking very nice now. So, and like it's a fly out. Like everything about this is just so weird. It's like it never happened.
Yeah, it was. I was dumbfounded because, like, first, like he hits the home run, and you're like, all right, this is insane. Like you're basically just like basking in the greatness of Brian Hayes and all that he is. And then they go to the replay booth, and
then
like,
you go and do something
run.
like this.
Yeah, and then you see the umpire say that he's out, and it's just like, what in the world? And I'm tired. I'm tired, DiNardo. I'm tired of stupid stuff happening. Like, just don't be stupid.
Yes.
But like, as many people pointed out, and we've already said here, like, it's hard to, like, I almost empathize with Hayes, because it's like, I mean, he had some momentary lapse in his brain where, I don't know why, but he had to have known he missed the base, but he just didn't go back. Like, the ball's over the fence. If you know you missed it, just stop and turn around and hit the base. Like, just to make sure,
Right.
But even if it makes you, even if it makes you look a little stupid for a second. Yeah. I mean, I know the Pirates didn't make him available to the media last night, so I'm sure at some point he will be made available and he will be asked about this. So he'll have to explain to people what happened in his mind. So, but like you mentioned, you have to know that you didn't touch the base.
Right.
I've played enough sports. I've played enough baseball and softball in my life where, like, if you do something wrong on the bases, you know it, right? Like, if someone tags you out before you get to a base, if the answer to the rules, right? All the time. Like, even if the umpire is wrong, if the umpire is wrong or not. And something as easy as stepping on the base, it's not something that you would miss in your head. Like, whether or not you hit a base or not.
Right.
That's clear. It's literally, like you mentioned, it's an object. It stands above the ground about 3 inches, you know if you touched it or not. Just like you know if someone misses a tag on you and they call you out, like you know that. So yeah, it's unfortunate to see it happen to Hayes because he is such a good player, right? Like he's doing all these incredible things,
right?
And you know, for the foreseeable future, Hayes is going to be the guy across like Major League Baseball. You know, I'm not talking about Pirates fans. Pirates fans know how good he is, but for the foreseeable future, people are going to know Brian Hayes is the guy who didn't hit first base.
And like that's the thing. Like, you know, we talked about with Will Craig and said, now granted, maybe he has a major league career, you know, maybe he does have something, but the thing is, like, he'll likely go down and be remembered for that play he had, right? You know, jokingly, I was like, he go off and hit 300 home runs, right? But remember for that. The likelihood of that is he's not going to hit 300 home runs. He's probably maybe going to get double digits. You know, I don't know how much he's going to be on a major league roster. So, like, him going down in history, like, I believe people are going to remember him for that play. And that's very unfortunate. Where on the other hand, Brian Hayes is a very, very good baseball player. You know, he'll be around for a long time. He'll have a lot of really good moments, I'm sure. But this still is going to be something. Like you said, it's been 4 decades. So are we going to be talking about Brian Hayes for like the next 4 decades, right? Or like in 4 decades from now when this happens again, it's like, oh yeah, well, this hasn't happened since 2021 with Brian Hayes with the Pirates. And remember the Pirates? Ha 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 ha. Remember how they used to be in Pittsburgh? Ha ha ha. No, joking. But anyways,
yeah.
You know, like that's going to be something on Brian Hayes now. Like we're going to be remembering him for this. Hopefully it is removed rather quickly, right? Hopefully he hits like a walk-off grand slam tomorrow night or something rather soon. But yeah, it's like I said, like this is definitely going to be carried around with Brian Hayes for some time. The other thing that's on my mind too, talking about weirdness, right? Like I know it's just one play and it doesn't really matter. Like the magnitude of this one play over the course of a whole season and such isn't going to change much. But like I'm thinking about the StatCast, right? We're in the StatCast era that they take this data to calculate things and whatnot. Does StatCast take this as a home run for their data, or do they take this as a flyout? Because, you know what I mean? Like, this went over the fence. Just because of a technical glitch, it wasn't a home run. So, like, do they look at this and say, okay, this ball was a home run for their data, so that way they can say this type of ball, right, equal to home run on PC? Or do they look at this and say, well, this was a flyout, and now it's an out? That's going to be very interesting.
That's a good question. I mean, I guess we can kind of, there is sort of a precedent, right? With the, like, because the Pirates made sure to show last night that, hey, other teams are just as stupid as us sometimes, you know, where I think the next inning they came back and they showed Bellinger when Bellinger crossed paths with Turner, you know, earlier in the year. So Bellinger hit a ball over the fence at Coors, but got a single. So I'm not sure, like, what they're gonna do with that. I mean, I guess StatCast says on their page here it was a 96 mile per hour fly out to right field that went 346 feet.
And so again, like that's kind of the thing.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about, you know, barrels and stuff like that. Like the one hit's not going to be a major difference, but at least with Bellinger, it still counted as a hit. Like it still was a hit, so that profile still equaled a hit. Whereas, like with Brian Hayes, that's going to equal a flyout, I guess, even though it clearly went over the fence.
It did. I mean, it is considered a hard hit ball. So Brian Hayes actually went 4 for 4 yesterday on hard hits, and so. It went down as a hard hit.
But a flyout, which is so crazy. It's just so crazy. Like, I mean, I get it. It's obviously an out, right? I get that. I'm not arguing. I'm not saying this is a stupid rule. He was out. It's just so weird. Like, this never happened. And now it's like this home run just disappears.
It did not exist. It is a fly out.
Yeah, no one.
And I guess it's a fly out. Like, there's no put out? Like, is there? Like someone has to get a put out on the play, right? Like technically,
The wall.
like, but like, yeah,
PNC
I
Park.
wonder.
Most
I wonder how, like,
flyouts
a
in the league.
scoring standpoint, Hayes. Okay, so it's counted as a fly out to the pitcher.
So Walker Buehler gets credited for that then?
Walker Buehler gets credit for the put out.
Wow. He gives up a home run and it turns into a positive. Give him a Gold Glove now.
Yeah, helping out the fielding percentage.
Jeez. Yeah, that's just weird. Okay, enough of that. At least enough of the bad stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the
no
thing.
more.
So, Brian Hayes does that the first time up the bat. But, Jim, it didn't appear as if that affected his mentality. He wasn't all down and pissed off. Came back up. And like you said, 4 hard hits on the night. Came the very next at bat. I think he drove it to center field and back in business. So,
yeah,
that was good to see. That was very good to see. That was encouraging.
it was. Yeah, and you can tell, like, just from the kind of player that he is, especially with how good he is defensively. Like, in order to be an elite defensive player, it means that you don't let your game affect other parts of your game, right? I mean, that's kind of one of the things people talk about is, no matter if he's 4 for 4 or 0 for 4 at the plate, you don't take it out in the field with you. You're still the same fielder every night.
Right.
So he was able to yeah. I mean, it didn't. Reynolds, had a quote after the game saying that most people that would have ruined their day, and he said that Hayes was really the same the rest of the game. So yeah, it sounds like at least from like a long-term effect on Hayes's. I mean, just mentality on stuff. I don't think it'll matter, but it is unfortunate. But I think Hayes is going to forget about it. I don't think he's going to dwell on it all that much.
Yeah, I think it's already like it is what it is in his mind, and that's what's cool and that's what's good. Getting over to him not being available for the media after the game. I'm going to ask you too. Like, what do you think about that? What are your thoughts? I know after Will Craig happened, he wasn't made available, and then he talked about the next day. So we did at least speak on it. So I assume that's probably what's going to happen today with Hayes. They'll make him available, and of course, everyone's going to ask him about it, and he'll talk. But last night he was not made available. Any issue? Any thoughts to that?
I mean, I'm not a member of the media, so I get it. Like, you want people to be available so that it's easier to do your job. Like,
sure.
As a media member, right? Like if you're
and
writing
last night was the first
post-game-
time they're allowing in person.
Yeah. So like if you were writing a post-game story, yeah, I want to hear from the guy who had the biggest event of the game, right? At the same time, I'm also okay with if the players want to give themselves a day, before talking about something that was probably quite upsetting to him, right? Mm-hmm. Just so he can kind of make sure that he's getting his words right and he's under composure. I'm fine with that too. Like I kind of get both sides of it. Like, I get the media side. Like, you want to be able to get a quote, you want to be able to get an explanation from the main part of the story.
It's a big
right?
story.
Yeah. And I get it from the player side because, what if you at your job, got as much media scrutiny as anybody else, right? Like, what if the media covered your daily work, right? And you made this huge mistake? Would you want cameras shoved in your face immediately after? No, you wouldn't. So,
right.
I get both sides. You could say that, hey, these are professional athletes, they're a little bit different than normal jobs, but this is still their job. Like, they this is their day-to-day grind, and they sometimes don't want to deal with the question. Maybe they just want to give themselves a day. And like I said, that's probably what's going to happen here. Like, it's not like Brian Hayes will never say anything about this subject ever. Like, they're going to ask him about it as soon as he becomes available, which will probably be today. So yeah, I'm not I'm not making a huge deal about it. I don't think it's a big deal. I get both sides.
Yeah, I'm with you too. Like, I think part of this, even though Will Craig, we joke how old he is, right? I mean, he's a baby. He's new when it comes to like terms of, you know, being a veteran in an MLB club. You know, I mean, how many days was he in the MLB when that happened? And Brian Hayes, kind of the same situation. So part of it is, I mean, you are a rebuilding club. These are the younger players on it per se. Maybe the less experienced. I'll put it that way. They're the less experienced players on this team. Two very big blunders. This isn't just as if like Brian Hayes missed a ground ball that, you know, lost the game, right? Someone scored on it. This is like this. Okay, this hasn't happened in 4 decades, right? This is Will Craig. This has never happened before in baseball, period, right? So I could understand maybe a little bit of, all right, let's take you aside. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss maybe some coaching, right? You're going to be asked these questions to help them out. I get that. Like that's in a sense, I look at it good on the Pirates for doing that. Like they're taking care of them. The whole thing about the media, like I understand it. That is their job too. But I think the focus is your players, right? You're not going to be like, oh no, I got to get you out there. It's the media. I'm going to be like, you know, listen, screw the media. Take you aside. Let's talk about this, right? What happened yesterday as well? Let's think about this. Now, there was a player who should have been prepared for a question because this has been a topic for about 4 days since that time. So you would think coaching happened. And when Garrett Cole was asked if he ever used the spider tack, well, we saw the video. We saw how he didn't know how to answer that. We saw how he looked like a fool. And now it's not so much a story of pitchers using the spider tack going viral. It's that video of Garrett Cole looking dumbfounded on that question that's going viral. It's bad enough that Brian Hayes has to endure this situation that hasn't happened in 4 decades, right? Do we also want to compound that with the possibility that he also looks like a fool answering it? I don't think so. I'm not putting you in that position. So that's why I'm cool with it also. It's already bad enough that you're going to be all over national media with this.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it before you have to answer. I'm fine with that. If he was a 6-year veteran, go out there and answer. I know you got this. You know what I mean? But right now, I'm still have the kid gloves on you. And I have no issue with it either. You know, it's like, I guess, good on the Pirates. Had he let him go out there and he looked fine, then great. But the fact that they said no, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. I'm sure we'll have some great answers tomorrow. I'm sure there's some help, you know, on the Pirates end in doing so. And that's probably what is deserved and needed at this time. So be it.
Yeah, that's how you said very good there. I agree. Well,
thank you. The Pirates coached me on that. So
yeah, I think
that's why I waited until
there's. I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer to the question, but yeah, it probably depends just on the person. You know, everybody's going to be different. Like some people might say, "No, I'm going out there. I want to talk about it. Just get it out of the way," right? And some people may want to just not talk about it at that point.
And that could be too. It could have been on him also. We don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find out. But it's like I'm cool with it. I don't have that big of an issue. I know you would want to get the story in the write-up last night because again, that's viral. That's going around. Once again, it wasn't just, you know, Pittsburgh media picking things up. It was national and everyone was talking about it. So you as a local writer probably would want to actually have something out there on it. But anyways, I digress. Let's talk a little bit about the game. I think I'll put it this way. It was a good game without all the blunders, if that makes sense. Because there's a lot of blunders.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. There were 2 big ones that basically changed the outcome of the game. Yeah.
Yes. And like, I guess what I mean by that is like, it was terrible because it was like the blunders and such. But at the same time, like JT Brubaker, I felt actually pitched pretty damn good against a Dodgers lineup. You know, it goes down in the box score as 4.2 innings pitched, 3 earned runs. But truly, he didn't look that way. He looked like a much better than box score shows. You know, like Brian Hayes goes 1 for 4, but truly, he probably should have been 2 for 4 with a home run, and that changes a lot of things on the box score also. You know, like obviously, like even Colin Moran looked pretty good. I mean, this I thought was a much better game than what the outcome, of course, shows.
Yes. Well, I mean, and the Pirates made it close there at the end. You know, they got it to 5-3. They forced the Dodgers to bring in Kenley Jansen so he could get his 1-out save. Right.
Right.
So
Michael Perez doing his weekly right. This guy sucks. DFA him, and then he hits a home run just in time to say I'm staying.
No. Yeah. Perez, 4 home runs now for Perez and pretty limited playing time. He's not getting on base, but
say 4 home runs and maybe 5 hits.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of pop in that bat, but no, you're right. So we talked about the Hayes thing, and the Hayes thing was substantial, I think, just because it was in the first inning, it was the beginning of the game, right? I mean, it was a momentum shifter both ways, right? So like Hayes homers in the first inning, you're up 1-0 now on Walker Buehler. Instead, it gets called out. Now Walker Buehler is pitching a shutout, and then next thing you know, Walker Buehler is rolling because he's arguably a top 5 pitcher in all of baseball, right? So once he gets rolling, you're going to have some trouble. So from that, Buehler goes 7 scoreless, right? Brubaker pitched very well. You know, first 4 innings, 0-0-0, gets into the 5th, and then Polanco makes a pretty bad blunder that essentially puts Brubaker into trouble that he wouldn't have necessarily been in, and then the Dodgers get 3 runs out of it. I mean, essentially, that's a single. So,
that is a single because of Polanco. It ends up being a triple, and it's an easy sac fly now. Like there's a run. I mean, how are you? I mean, how do you put any blame on that to JT Brubaker? You can't. You can't. He gave up a pretty, I'm not gonna say weak hit. It wasn't so. I mean, it was just a routine. It was just a hit. You give a hit. Okay, it was a single. Right now it's a sac fly. Now it's a run. We're really that's an out. The guy's still on first base, no damage still.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just it really sting. I felt for JT Brubaker. He should have just punched Polanco right in the face right then and there, walking off that field.
Yeah, it was just a bad error. Like there's some errors where you can be like, all right, I get it, but like that one was bad.
Right.
Just completely misplayed the ball. I'm not really sure what happened on it, but
like they said on the broadcast, you know, it looked as if he misjudged it. The bounce by looking at 2, it looked as if like he just didn't bend over far enough. I don't know if it was a judgment thing or just I don't know. But yes, it just,
and then that kind of just compounded because right after that, then Pollock laces a double, which Brian Reynolds almost makes an incredible play on in center field.
Yes.
I mean, it would have been like Jim Edmonds-esque out there, you know, right? As far as like what it would have looked like. But Pollock doubles, and then Betts, kind of a similar situation, triples. Reynolds lays out for it, can't get to it.
That's the other guy I say, Brubaker I feel for. Like Brian Reynolds I kind of feel for too, because my God, I mean, to have like that close back to back almost, right? Those plays where he just has to lay out and like just misses it. You know,
he like, it was absolutely. It wasn't. Yeah, I mean, there's sometimes where you dive and it's just like you're just falling on the ground, but
which he has done. He did that earlier in the season.
But like he laid out for both of those balls, and it didn't pay off for either time. So yeah, it's kind of a shame.
Yeah. But, so it's like he looks out. He's out there looking like 2 potential amazing plays. He just misses them, and then it's a huge inning for the Dodgers.
Right, and it's like I said, it's another example of just the way that you can't give really good teams like windows, right? Like the Dodgers are clearly a really good team, right? And it's gonna take a lot of plays and a lot of it. Like you have to play well to beat this team. They're very good, and this was just an example of if you don't play well, right? They are going to make you pay for it, and they did, and it was the difference in the game. The Pirates just they made a couple blunders, and that was the difference right there.
It absolutely
Dodgers
was.
made them pay.
And that's the thing. Like, it ended up being just a two-run game at the end. And we say that because it was 5-1, and like you said, right? The Pirates did come back. Reynolds hit a home run, Perez hit a home run, and now it's 5-3, which theoretically it should have been 5-4. I mean, it should have been 5-4. It should have been 5-4. Let's say that it should have been 5-4, right? And like obviously, if it was 5-4, the home run counts like that. The first inning still extended, so who knows still what happens? Yeah, that game was very winnable, as weird as it sounds last night for the Pirates. But that just is what it is, unfortunately. And right, I mean, Polanco, that he gets a lot of hate for his defense. And I feel it's always stuff like that. Like, the guy really isn't this terrible of a defender. Now, the arm isn't there anymore. We know that. But he really isn't that
non-existent,
terrible of a defender. It just always seems as if something like this creeps up. Like, there's this moment that stands out. And I felt like that almost like with Marte. That was like, people call him Dunlap or whomever. Like, that was his thing too. Like, although Marte was a very, very good defender, where Polanco actually is an okay defender. Yeah, like Polanco just makes that error. Now, that's the thing too. Let's also point this out. That's also a difference, because this isn't just Marte love, right? But I'm going to say this. Like, Brian Reynolds laid out, looked like a really, really good play, right? However, a really, really good center fielder probably wasn't needed to lay out there. Like, if that was Marte in the outfield, it was probably just an out. And that, I guess, kind of to reflect it, like, it's kind of like the Hayes effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hayes doesn't need to lay out for a lot. He makes a lot of like outs look routine, and that's kind of like what Marte did. Like, and Marte did it this past weekend. I forget who it was that hit the ball, and he just ran and just caught it on the run, where Reynolds probably wasn't even diving and reaching that. So I just wanted to put that out there. Yeah, I feel bad for Reynolds, and he did everything he could, and he laid out, and it was so close. But also at the same time, I just want to say I can't wait till the Pirates get a true center fielder again, because that would be nice to have, like, Reynolds in left field once again, sooner rather than later.
Gerard Dyson.
Maybe not him, but somebody else. But think about it, that's the Swaggerty situation. That's where this really, really plays in. Like, it just sucks because Swaggerty could have been there. Swaggerty is a legit center fielder. You move Reynolds back to left, and now this outfield is a little bit better. But anyway,
I mean, I don't think anybody would argue that, you know, Reynolds is definitely better suited for left than center. He has played a very passable center field so far.
He has, and I'm not taking that away from it any means.
But yeah, definitely better off in left. I would agree there.
Cool. All right. So of course we had to talk about last night's game. The Marlins since Thursday. Anything to talk about there?
Yeah, I mean, we actually, I guess we didn't get to talk about that Marlins series at all. I mean, that was excellent, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Brian Hayes comes back, 4-game series. Pirates take 3 out of 4. I mean, that was just good, fun baseball to watch that series. You know, you got to see Hayes do his thing where he was taking over games and was the reason why the Pirates won a couple of those. You had walk-off by Stallings. You had good pitching. It was the bullpen pitched really well that series. But no, that was good to see. The Marlins are kind of reeling a little bit, it seems like.
Yeah, they are.
You know, coming off the playoffs last year, but doesn't really look like that's happening. I remember I was watching, I think it was like MLB Tonight one night, and they were like, "Who's your dark horse candidate to win the NL East?" This was back when you know no one's really taken a hold of that NL East. The Mets are kind of starting to do it, but no one was really doing it at first. Yeah, no one was doing it at first, and someone was like, "I think the Marlins are going to do it," and it's like that doesn't look like to be the case.
Not anymore. And you're right; they definitely are reeling, but I mean, it is also the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's not as if it was the Dodgers coming in getting a bad Marlins team. Just two pretty bad teams. So it was nice. Like the lineup was at that point starting to return. That was also the really nice thing about last night. The lineup is back. Like Phillip Evans was here. So, and not that it's not like Phillip Evans' return is anything like a Brian Hayes, but at least Phillip Evans returning does lengthen that lineup, right? But that was the thing about the Marlins series. Like, it was starting to return. Hayes came back. Colin Moran came back. Colin Moran, immediately paid dividends. Brian Hayes obviously already did as well. It really, yes, that was really nice to see that series. 3 out of 4. Who would have thought we would be talking about the Pirates in a possible sweep this season, especially a 4-game series? And it almost did. Now, Sandy Alcantara made sure that didn't happen. He pitched a hell of a game Sunday.
He did.
But I thought it was really nice to see this lineup. Everyone pitched very well. And also, just to put out there, I know we talked some, obviously on Thursday, but Starling Marte's return, that was really good to see. I really enjoyed watching him play. It was one of those moments where, now that it's gone, you really miss him. It was the right move, and I'm thankful for Peguera. I'm thankful for Malone. But man, it was so fun to enjoy watching Starling Marte in that outfield.
Yeah, he was, again, I think once the years pass, I think people maybe will start realizing that we had it pretty good with Marte out there. He was pretty good, and I think a lot of people realize he was good. There's just a select few vocal, the vocal minority, right? They're talking.
Yeah. But even without them, it's just in general, it was nice. I thought it was a very good tribute the Pirates did, and just him himself embracing it. It was a good moment. The whole series, I felt.
You could tell. He himself, liked coming back too, because he was putting it all over social media, like him and Pirates jerseys, and was like, it's nice to be back in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I don't know how you can't like the guy.
Even the Marlins social media was putting things out there for it as well. Mm-hmm. So it was a really cool. Again, it was a really good moment. I enjoyed it. But yes, the Pirates. We're talking number 1 pick, right, for next year. They're still playing better than a lot of these bottom teams that this top 5 pick. I guess what I'm getting at goes to show once again, the Marlins, right? 3 out of 4 the Pirates take. They're bad, but there's some really bad teams, and we might be adding the Marlins to that list here soon because they're not looking that good. They're in a very competitive NL East, and obviously, they're probably going to be trading away some players at the deadline also, the way it's going right now, which again could be starting Marte for the 3rd time in 2 years.
Right. Marte is definitely going to be one of those people where if the Marlins are out of it, which they're still, the NL East still isn't totally out of the question. I know they're not playing well, but they're only 6.5 games out. So it's not quite sell time maybe, but yeah, I think what you've seen here is the Pirates have played a couple teams in this past month. The Rockies definitely, where there are some bad teams. That was really the first time I've watched the Rockies this year, and the Pirates destroyed them, a couple games. So there's definitely going to be some competition. That was with the bad lineups that the Pirates had. That was with the bad lineups. And then you also think of the Rockies are almost 5 games better than the Diamondbacks. Right. So, right. So you've got the Diamondbacks have lost teams. 16 in a row or something crazy. Yeah, the Diamondbacks are terrible. So you got the Diamondbacks, the Rockies, the Nationals who just won a World Series and have arguably the best hitter in all of baseball right now. You could argue. The Marlins are only a game ahead of the Pirates right now in terms of wins. Right. So it's kind of crazy. There's some bad teams. I do think the Pirates, could have that potential where they just, once they start trading a couple guys away, then they can really tank here. But I mean, I don't want to see them tank, right? I'd like to see this team win. I like to see them play well. It would be cool to see some progress this year. But I guess we'll see. It's a long season. We're about a third of the way through it. See how it goes from here.
True. All right, let's go ahead and get into our prospect talk here. All right, so Jim, it appears, and I believe you want to take credit for this, but it appears you have caused a stir with Ronesy Day.
Yeah, I guess it's a real thing now. Yeah, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I invented Ronesy Day, but yeah, we won't take that. We won't take that credit.
Well, we definitely are. We're gonna roll with it. You've created it.
All right, we'll roll with it. We'll roll with it. Yeah, and I was looking. I was like, I actually searched on Twitter yesterday, and I was like, I'm the first person to have ever said that on Twitter. So yeah, I invented it. I'm gonna have to put a trademark on it and see what happens with it.
Nice.
But yeah, yesterday was, and also Ethan pointed out, by the way, that apparently like everybody's just mispronouncing his name incorrectly. Starts, like maybe making 4 more starts and then moving them up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Contreras Day yesterday. Couple of the curve players have been pretty hot. They were. If we're talking about the top 2 here, Ji-Hwan Bae has been on a tear for for Altoona.
Yes. Started
not
out
someone
very, very bad.
Yeah, I mean, because he started off real bad, and so he's now. I mean, he's going to be a guy where if he's going to play, he's gonna have to hit, right? Because he's zero power whatsoever, none. Like he doesn't. It doesn't. It's not even in. Like you were talking about, like tools. Like it's not even like in a toolbox, like hidden in a shed somewhere. Like he just literally. Like when he went to Lowe's to pick up his tools, he just didn't even bother going in that section, right?
Yeah.
He's got his average up to 271. Realistically, like that, it's going to have to be above 300. Like it just has to be because of his lack of power. But it is creeping up because at the beginning of the year it was in the ones, and so it is on its way up. He is hot right now. He had to be taken out of yesterday's game as a precaution. Him and Cal Mitchell collided in the outfield, so Bay was taken out of the game.
Couldn't go a week without talking about some injury.
Right. Yeah, of course. We got to talk about an injury. So apparently Mitchell is okay, but Bay was banged up a little bit and had to leave. He stayed in the game right afterwards, but got pulled about an inning later. So something to keep an eye out. Hopefully he's okay. Cal Mitchell seems okay, but yes, that was concerning. And then another player who we want to obviously keep an eye on in Altoona, O'Neal Cruz, has been just crushing the ball. I think he didn't have a hit last night, but I want to say he was on like something like a 10-game hitting streak, which would have been snapped. But been hitting the ball for power. He has 5 home runs now in 25 games, slugging .520. He is looking good. The strikeouts are still kind of holding there in the mid-20s, which is what you want to see. You don't want to see those creep up towards 30%. But yeah, I think what you're seeing out of Cruz is everything we want to see so far.
I'm with you. The strikeouts are still semi-concerning to me, but not overly, because I just felt that's going to be part of his game. Like he's going to be a guy that strikes out. If it was 30 plus, that would be really concerning at the AA level. With missing the year and such, like where he's at right now, I'm comfortable with. And yes, you are correct. So I wanted to see it was a 10-game. Wait. Yes, he was on a 10-game hit streak since May 26th. So last night it did end the streak, but you are right. Like he was looking good to begin the season, right? And like now he's looking even better. So that's also something that's kind of cool that you'd want to see, right? Like not only is he just being good, he's progressing. That's another guy you would want to see in AAA at some point this year.
Yeah. So
he's certainly on that path. But yeah, like he is striking out. I get that. But at the same time, he also is walking to a certain degree. He's getting on base. He's hitting. So he's doing all the good things. And we all know, again, like that cannon he has for an arm. Man, that's pretty to see. And I'm sure it's not going to be a shortstop at some point, but maybe the outfield. Yeah. But regardless, yes, he has looked very good.
Yeah, no, he very, very, very good. And if you're seeing like highlights of him, it's easy to see like how scouts like love him because his swing is just so effortless. I don't want to compare him to Polanco just because people are like, obviously Polanco didn't pan out.
You say that,
right? Polanco didn't pan out, right?
Right.
But I mean, if you remember, Polanco was like a top 10 prospect in all of baseball. Polanco was one of the best prospects the Pirates have ever had. And so like there's a lot of Polanco in his swing, right? He's like that long, lanky guy. It's just a matter of, okay, is the swing going to be long? Can he shorten it and still get the power out of it? Like that's going to be the question with Cruz on whether or not he's going to be a major league hitter. Is he going to be able to, have a quick enough swing to compete? And because the power is obviously there. I mean, they tweeted out a video last week of him, and he just basically flicked his wrists and then went oppo taco.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah,
it was like, oh my gosh, this guy's good. But I mean, the guy has on a 20 to 80 scouting scale, like the guy has 80. He's got 80 power. Like this is a guy who is completely capable of just mashing, right? It's gonna be a matter of if he can just make contact. So just I'm like I said, it's a little concerning, but I'm comfortable with where the strikeouts are at right now.
And that's probably the best way to put it. I'm comfortable with it. You know, I'm not alarmed. You would want better, but also knowing what he is and what he's probably going to be as a major leaguer. Like, this isn't a guy that's going to bat 300, like, by any means, right? You're looking at the mid 200 batting average, probably with a lot of power, right? I mean, honestly, like, you're looking at this like potentially like a Pedro Alvarez type of stat line. Like, he's not going to hit for a ton of big average, but he's going to present the big power in that middle of the lineup, but also like not have the defense that Pedro did. Like that, he'll also have a positive, hopefully, on the defensive side somewhere. So,
really, I mean, he's a left-handed Aaron Judge. I think that if that could happen, that's best case scenario right there.
It is best case. I don't know if we'll get that. Like, that's why I think I'm settling for like the Pedro Alvarez type of profile. Like, I don't know if even like the 280. I don't know if he'll flirt with 280 in the majors. I could be all wrong, but
I'm gonna be disappointed if he's a Pedro Alvarez.
Well,
I mean, Alvarez was out of baseball after.
I know, but a lot of that he fell off though rather quickly. You know, I guess I'm looking at Pedro, but sustaining like the good Pedro. Like, even when Pedro was good, he wasn't like a 280 hitter.
No.
So that's, I guess.
But I'm looking at Judge, and like Judge is basically a 25 to 30% strikeout guy, right?
True.
And fully capable of hitting 50 home runs in a year at the same time. So I think that is the ceiling for Cruz.
Well, it's certainly the ceiling, and that body type certainly. I mean, that's Aaron Judge like.
And hopefully he, like, if that could happen, I'd just be so happy. The Pirates just haven't had any luck with any of their power hitters. They need somebody to pan out eventually.
Right. Like,
can we have one guy who's like consistently a 30 home run threat?
Okay. Anything else stand out? I mean, the one thing, like, it's just to bring up, we'll have to go to you, but
yeah.
Mitchell was the one you mentioned, right? He was part of the injury. It's a guy we need to bring up again. Like, maybe we should keep more of an eye on him. And he had a nice day at the plate last night, going 2 for 4. He's now batting 286. Like, he's doing some things there. I think we have certainly forgot Kyle Mitchell, and he's making himself renowned again.
Kyle Mitchell, and then another person too who kind of just completely fell out of the wagon. If we're going to go down to the next level here. How about Lolo Sanchez?
Yep.
It's like one of those things where, you got the Obi-Wan Kenobi meme where it's like, now that's a name. It feels like Lolo Sanchez has been in the system forever. He's only 22, but I mean, if you look at it, he has been in the system since 2016. This is his 5th year as a Pirates minor leaguer. And like
that's what I was getting at. I spoke last week about, it was like that West Virginia outfield crew. It was like him and Cal Mitchell. Like, that was like, this is gonna be a really good, crop of players coming up. And I felt like both of them kind of took a step back, but it's like they're back again. Yeah,
Lolo's back. I mean, he has a 17% walk rate right now. He's a 407 on base percentage. He's got 4 homers down there in Greensboro. 149 weighted runs created plus. So again, I'm not saying Lolo Sanchez is going to be the next big thing, but he's just a guy who was on our radar probably, like 4 years ago, and then dropped off a little bit. But because of his age, he's still interesting, right? Like, we're not talking about a 24-year-old in A-ball. He's 22, right? Because he started off so young as an international signee. Again, he's been in the system for 5 years, but he started at 17. So he's now, he's raking right now for Greensboro. So maybe he's a guy, because he did play in high A a little bit in 2019. So he's kind of repeating the level, right? But he's mashing right now for Greensboro.
Yeah,
Had a walk-off homer the other day.
That's what you want to see from him, right?
Mhm.
Obviously. And you're right. Like, I don't know if Lolo Sanchez is going to be the answer in the future, but at least there looks like there could be a crop of outfielders that are playable potentially. You know, like obviously Lolo Sanchez isn't going to be, you know, like I said, the games, like he's not the future center, left field, or right field, or whatever, but he could definitely be potentially a player, right? Which also it says something. I mean, that's certainly this. I feel like there isn't too many stars, right, in the minors, but there's a lot of depth, and even the guys that you aren't talking about could potentially be depth. That's good. There's a lot of quality in quantity manners, but not high in quantity, which hopefully we'll get there with.
Yeah, I mean, this team, this minor league system is full of depth, right? I mean, there are a lot of people in this system who are fully capable of becoming at least role players,
right,
you know, on a major league team. And then, yeah, there is, I would say the top is pretty good. Like, I mean, it's not like we're dealing with like the Orioles here or anything like that, but we have, or the Rays, right? The Rays are just a little bit crazy. Their top 10 is all top 100 prospects, but we're dealing with the top 10 prospect list where they're all pretty good. And then I said, well, just with how deep this system is, 10 through 50,
yeah,
you know, are all guys who are fully capable of becoming something.
Right. That's a good way of putting it. Like there's not that big of a drop off. Maybe from 10 to 50, but maybe from I don't know, but even 20 is like really good. But the drop off isn't significant. Like you can even get into like the 40s and be talking about guys that could potentially have a future, right? And are capable, like you said, of playing. It's not as if you're looking at your number 31 prospect and just like, well, this guy doesn't have a chance, right? That's the one thing the Pirates system does have. It's a lot of depth. And like I said, when I say quality, it's not like premier quality. Like we're not talking about these guys gonna be studs, but these guys can be major leaguers. And if you're a number 40 prospect, and you know what I mean, you're talking about you could be a major leaguer, that's a big thing.
Yep. Yeah, I mean Lolo Sanchez, we just talked about him. Everybody knows who Lolo Sanchez is, but he's the number 41 prospect on this team, and according to Fangraphs.
Yeah.
That
and
probably
wasn't
would be
he
the case for
in
most
like
teams.
the top? I don't want to say between 20 and 30, but maybe it was just that. But wasn't he in the top 20 at one point for the Pirates, or no?
I would
Might
say
be
he
too
was
aggressive.
he may have been in the top 20. Yeah, like early
If
on.
so, I'm talking so like 17, 18, 19, something like that. But I feel as if he was in the top 20 at one point.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised there.
So again, right, he has fallen off a bit, but it is nice to see what he's doing right now. And again, with Cal Mitchell, two guys we don't talk too much about, two guys that really no one is talking about because of all the new toys that are fun and sexy to play with right now. But these are two guys that still are there. They're still here, and they're doing their thing now in 2021, which really matters. And so that's kind of cool. All right.
Yeah, for sure. So that's good to see. Good to see some guys bouncing back. Because again, I mean, depth is an important part of any organization. If you don't need to go out there and have a revolving door of fourth outfielders, you know, off of the waiver wire, that's a good thing. You know, if you can have fourth outfielder depth in the minors, then yeah, that's good.
So what else you want to talk about, Jim?
Andy Rodriguez still mashing for Bradenton. That just, I mean, he looks legit. I wouldn't be surprised to see him, you know, rise up. You know, I don't know if he won't make any like top 100 lists this year, but next year when team rankings come out, I expect Andy Rodriguez to receive a pretty significant bump if he continues what he's doing. Carmen Mlodzinski.
Yeah.
How about Carmen Mlodzinski? So He's in Greensboro right now. College pitcher from last year's draft. And he looks like, I forget who it was. Was it Drecker from Pittsburgh Baseball Network was saying, he maybe needs to start looking for restaurants to eat in Altoona because he's absolutely dominating Greensboro right now. He's 4 starts. Let me pull up his stats here, but computer's going slow for some reason right now.
You're good.
4 starts, absolutely dominating. I think he's given up 1 run. 1 run, maybe.
Yep, 1 run.
And I think 16 innings. Yeah, 16 innings, 1 run, 0.55
and it was a home
average.
Run. So yep.
It was a home run. Okay, yeah. But yeah, he looks good. So hopefully the Pirates have themselves another nice looking pitching prospect. 31st overall pick last year. Might see him in Altoona soon.
And that could be the pattern here. I mean, obviously someone in AAA, there needs room in AAA, but makes sense. Contreras go to AAA, Brzezinski to AA in Altoona. Just stay away from the pizza. Don't eat that Altoona shit, whatever you want to call it. It's not pizza. So that's my suggestion. If you're looking for places to eat, let me tell you places not to eat. Anywhere that has that type of pizza.
So I didn't even realize this was a thing until maybe like a year ago. This Altoona hotel pizza or whatever it's called. Like, I mean, I've been to Altoona a few times and I've never seen this stuff before, nor do I want to ever
right
try it at all. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I blame Josh Banks. He on Twitter. I never saw it either until he showed it, and I want to say it's probably a year ago, like you mentioned too. When I saw it, I didn't know it was a thing either. And then when I saw it, I can't believe it is a thing. Just
like who in their right mind would
on
eat?
Top of this pizza, like half baked.
It looks terrible. Like it looks absolutely terrible. And then some clown on Twitter the other day puts this like, oh, here's what Pittsburgh style pizza looks like, and it's that stupid pizza that they put cold cheese on it and cold stuff all over it. And it's like, no, that's not Pittsburgh style pizza. There's like literally a place that has it. Like that's not Pittsburgh style. When one place sells something, it doesn't constitute an entire region.
Yes, thank you.
I was like, there's no such thing as Pittsburgh style pizza. Altoona, I feel bad for them if they actually want to claim that pizza because that's just embarrassing. But it is what it is.
True. Okay, so back to Brzezinski. Yes, man. He has looked really, really good so far, and of course, it's short sample size, but he has looked very dominant.
Yeah, very good. I don't know how much to add there. I haven't gotten to watch him yet. I will say this: I'm going to 2 Greensboro games later this month, so hopefully I'll be able to see some good stuff there. So I'm excited about that. They're coming up to Bowling Green later on this month, so I will be going to a couple games there. Hopefully Gonzalez will be back. Peguero has cooled off a little bit since like that super hot first week that he had.
But he did have an injury too, so...
Did have an injury. He's still an above-average hitter right now, and he's still only 20 years old. So I'm not really too worried about Peguero.
By the way, we had a comment just to say. So comment is, the Pirates are Pittsburgh-style baseball. So Pittsburgh does have a style of something.
I don't know if we want to claim that either.
Right. Just, we remove first base altogether. Just get rid of it.
I would say Pittsburgh style of baseball where we don't know the rules based around first base.
It goes home, second, third, and home.
What it was is just, I mean, Lloyd McClendon set the precedent when he took first base. He was like, we don't need this.
That's the problem. There is no first base in Pittsburgh anymore.
Right.
So
Lloyd McClendon permanently removed it. And now it's just kind of coming back to haunt us. It's the Lloyd McClendon curse. Yeah. I don't have much
Okie
else to add about the minors. Not a whole lot crazy stuff happened last week. But as I said, Majinski, definitely something to talk about. Contreras, clearly, we're going to talk about all his starts. Quinn Priester, we touched on him where he had a couple dominant starts there, but then last time out wasn't so great. So he just needs to find a little more consistency in Greensboro, but he hasn't been bad. He hasn't been great, but he's kind of just been inconsistent. So
it's kind of almost the Mitch Keller effect he's had, except it's 2-1 and 2-off.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. So hopefully he can kind of get on track and establish himself as, kind of the ace of that Greensboro staff. Yeah, Swaggerty out for the year. It looks like he did have a surgery, so that's super unfortunate.
Yep. 5 months he'll be out for.
Yeah. And really it just kind of sucks. That Indianapolis team now is just not interesting in it. They're not interesting in any way.
It's solely like Vanessa Hudgens alert now. Like that's it. Like, is Vanessa here today? No. Okay.
Is Vanessa Hudgens gonna turn up at Victory Field? That would be probably a big event there for Indianapolis. Have Vanessa Hudgens show up. So
sure.
Who knows? But yeah, Indianapolis not exciting to watch. It's basically Altoona, Greensboro, Bradenton at this point,
which is okay.
Yeah. Especially with Yahore.
Those three are really interesting to watch.
Yeah, especially with Yahore also being on the shelf right now.
Yep. I was going to bring it up too. So injuries, we talked about the two with Kyle Mitchell and Bay. Yahore is on the shelf, still very. That's something I'm uncomfortable with. The elbow.
Yeah.
They said it's getting better, right? It's felt better over the past week. I guess that is encouraging per se, but you said it best, right? Until he pitches his first pitch, I'm not looking too optimistic. I guess that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know. Maybe we're just conditioned to feel this and think this way too. Maybe that's part of it, but that's something with him. The other thing of note is we talked about Jose Soriano coming back and how filthy he looked. Also, same thing. He had some reoccurring elbow discomfort coming off his Tommy John surgery. So I'm not very encouraged about that information either.
Yeah. What's the name of the saying where it's like, if the worst thing can expect the worst thing can happen, what the worst thing that can happen, whatever that saying is. But that's what I expect now, just for all Pirates injuries.
Yes.
And anytime somebody mentioned forearm,
and that's just the thing. Like, it's not even so much just Pirates. Like anytime I hear forearm, I'm just like, all right, we're done. Pack
forearm,
it up, move on.
Forearm soreness, not a good thing. Not a good thing when it comes to pitchers.
No.
So yeah, that's concerning. Like, I'm not even cautiously optimistic. Really, I'm cautiously pessimistic
already read them
with
off.
That one. I'm not writing them off, but it's like, yeah, until I see him throw a pitch on a mound, I'm not optimistic about it.
Right.
Yeah.
I just hope if the worst happens, right? If the worst happens, I just hope it's handled differently than with Tyone and Cole. And it's not come September we decide, all right, they need Tommy John. Let's do it now.
Yeah, I mean, even at this point, though, like, you're late enough in the year, June, you're probably
still missing all.
Yeah, you're probably missing all next year, even with Tommy John today. I mean, maybe you're making a the better team. It is going to be nice to watch, like, because the West Coast games, I try to get them, but typically I usually am watching the Padres, so it's nice to watch the Dodgers from time to time. Mookie Betts, appreciate him. He's a fun guy to watch. One of the best players in baseball, so glad we get to see Mookie Betts up close and personal.
True. All right, well, then we're out of here. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition of NS9 Live and also a special podcast coming out for you guys this week. Hopefully, fingers crossed. It should be, but we'll be talking about the sticky stuff in baseball if that leads to anything here. So
Good stuff.
So we'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Later.